Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to look at common mistakes that lots of candidates make every single year, mistakes that are to be avoided. And once you see the mistakes and understand them, I think you'll find them easier to avoid. So I'm calling this video Traps and Pitfalls, traps that you can fall into, traps that are damaging in terms of losing marks. This is how I feel. That's not a picture of me, but it's how I feel when I'm marking the paper and I see these common errors, because I know that they're quite straightforward to fix. I know that if the candidate could spot what they were doing, they would stop it immediately. And often they're making these mistakes without realizing it. And I just feel it's really unfortunate. So I want you guys to tune in, listen carefully, and do your very, very best to dodge these pitfalls. Pitfall number 1, not identifying your chosen word clearly enough. Now, in all our examples, I've said the word and then used quotation marks. If you notice here, which word? If you're a marker marking this candidate's paragraph, which word are they referring to? It's really hard to see. I mean, we know it's liberty because we've worked on this passage a few times now. But if this is your 198th close reading to mark, or your first close reading to mark as a marker, you're having to read through all of that text and you're getting frustrated because you know that candidate has been told to put quotation marks. Every teacher in Scotland says it day after day, use quotation marks. So that immediately identifies the word choice. It's a word choice question. You have to choose a word. If you don't choose a word, you're not doing a word choice question. So nice, clear quotation marks, please. The next example here is what I call a snake quote. It's twisting and coiling and it's too long. Read it here with me. The writer says drone enthusiasts are drawn to the aerial liberty and the ability to observe the world through the eyes of a bird. This suggests, etc., etc. Now, the problem with this passage here is that, again, I don't know, in that long sentence, it's 3 lines long, at least, which word is the candidate talking about? They have not chosen a word. It's a word choice question. I see where they're coming from. It's a lack of confidence. They're saying, I'm pretty sure it's one of these words in here, so I'm going to slap the long quote down and keep my fingers crossed that I get away with it. You won't. The marker will see through it straight away. The only way that you can use a long quote is if you do something like this. You can leave your long quote in, but underline the words that you're talking about. In this case, aerial liberty. So we can use more than one word, but not much more. Usually it's just a word, sometimes it's 2, 3 to push. Okay, now in this case as a marker, I can see clearly which word was chosen and identified by the candidate. So best to just avoid those snake-like quotes because they take too long to write out. Far, far, far too long to write out. And just use the formula that we've been using, saying the word liberty, meaning, suggests. Okay, pitfall number 2. Choosing a word from the wrong paragraph. I know it seems so obvious, but it happens every single year to quite a large number of candidates. And again, it's quite frustrating to watch. We get told at the beginning of each question which lines to look at. However, quite often I see people, instead of answering from this paragraph here, they will go to this first paragraph and say, oh, drool, that's a good word. I know what it means. I know the connotations. And they do a wonderful answer using the formula, the word drool, meaning, suggest, loads of suggestions, and they get 0 because it was not from the lines that they were asked to choose from. So take really good care of that. Each question will tell you where to look. Only look in that area, and don't be afraid to put a box around the area in the exam or to cross out sections that you're finished with. You're allowed to write on that paper. That's your paper to use as you wish. Number 3, personal hate of mine, rewriting the entire question. Now, read question 1 with me again, and then I'm going to show you an answer. And look how similar the answer is to the question. Look at lines 8 to 13. Explain how 2 examples of the writer's word choice make it clear why supporters of drones like the new technology. And this candidate starts with one way that the writer uses word choice in lines 8 to 13 to make it clear why supporters of drones like the new technology is by using the word liberty. The word liberty, meaning freedom, suggest, yada yada yada. Now, that section there in red is absolutely pointless, and it's actually really dangerous. There's almost 30 words in that section. And if you have this approach to every single question, you're going to write 200 to 250 extra words in your exam. You don't have time in an hour to do that. And I understand why people do that. A lot of people do it, it's out of confidence. It kind of gets them started into the question. It warms them up before they have to get into the real detail of answering the question. But don't use the time you would have spent writing to think carefully, to choose your words carefully, and have the confidence in the formula to go straight into the answer, the word liberty, meaning, and suggests. A much, much, much better approach. If you avoid writing all the stuff that's highlighted in red, then you'll get time to write extra answers as well, the banker answers that I've already spoken about that can get you the extra marks. And number 4, reusing the chosen word or words from the passage in your explanation. Take care with this one. This is trickier, maybe not as obvious to see. But what I mean by this is if I'm answering on the word liberty again, I have to be careful not to use the words from this paragraph in particular in my answer. Otherwise, I'm in danger of losing marks. And this, if we look quickly back at the word liberty, we knew that meant freedom. We looked at the Statue of Liberty, and through our whispering suggestion window, we saw 3 things. We saw freedom, 4 things actually. Freedom, which was good. Independence, which was good. Autonomy, which was good. And if you remember, I left out liberation. I didn't like liberation. And the reason for that is it's too close to the word liberty. It's not enough of a change. And you will lose marks. You will not be awarded the marks if you kind of just slightly reword the quote. So here we've got the word liberty, meaning freedom to go where you want, suggests that supporters of the new drones like the feeling of liberation they provide. The answer looks really, really, really good. It will get 1 mark because the quote is good, but it will not get the 2nd mark because the word liberation is too close to the word liberty. They're too similar. You need to stretch your vocabulary a little bit more. Likewise, in this next answer, I've just changed it slightly. So I've changed the ending here. Suggests that supporters of new drones like the freedom to observe the world. Okay. And if you remember from the passage, that is a direct quote from the same paragraph. Observe the world. So I'm not really explaining it in my own words. I'm lifting stuff from the passage for my explanation of the suggestions. So 2 things to be careful. Don't use words that are very, very similar to the chosen quoted word, and don't use other words from the same paragraph if you can avoid it as much as possible. Little words. Don't worry about little words like, you know, the words like of and they and in and all these small words. And some words you can't avoid, but where you can, where possible, do avoid them. So I've shown you these pitfalls. I've shown you these traps for the simple reason is I don't want you feeling like this. I know I feel like this is a marker, but I don't want you getting your results back expecting a high mark and getting a medium mark or a low mark and feeling frustrated. But I put all that hard work into my close reading. You know, I worked hard in school. I did this extra video course as well. Why is my mark so low? Quite often, it's because of those simple mistakes, especially under stress in the exam situation. So if you can learn what they are, go back and watch this video a few times, especially coming close to prelims and the National 5 exam the night before. Have a quick look through it or write down a list of them so that you're aware of them before you go into the exam. And that way, you're going to have the marker and you feeling like this, right? Rewarding you with lots of marks, saying, well done. You've clearly chosen a word, you've clearly explained it, and you haven't made the common errors. That's what you're aiming for, those great marks, and you can definitely do that. Now, the most important message I want to leave you with in this video is take care, because the details matter. You must use your quotation marks. You must clearly identify which word you choose. You must stretch your vocabulary and not just tweak the words that you've already been given. Those details matter. Best of luck now when you try these out and try to avoid these. And I'll see you again soon.